Do you remember back in the olden days when you wanted to watch a video on the internet and you had to select what video quality you wanted to attempt to stream? The service was basically asking you to guess your available bandwidth. They had some connection-based recommendations, like if you're connecting through a phone line, maybe you should stream the small version of the video, or if you had an ISDN line, you could maybe try the medium version of the video, and if you had a T1 line, you could attempt to stream the largest version. But these recommendations weren't exactly foolproof. Even if you had a T1 line and everything was streaming fine at the beginning, your network's bandwidth might drop significantly while you're watching the video. And when it did, you went from watching your smooth, high quality video to all of a sudden watching the video stop and the player buffer. If you waited long enough, it would finally download enough of the video to start playing again, but the periods of buffering were definitely halting. You've likely noticed that these connection-based manual options have mostly gone away. So how does it work now? You would be correct to say that our internet connections have gotten much faster over the years, and relative to the video sizes, our internet connections are typically not the constraint. But things can still happen. Networks can get congested, or you might be attempting to stream from an area of your residence that doesn't have the best Wi-Fi connection. And when that happens, the download speeds slow down. But by and large, you definitely don't see a lot of buffering when you're streaming video nowadays. And in large part, that's due to what is called adaptive bitrate streaming. So let's talk about how adaptive bitrate streaming works. Just like in the olden days, modern video streaming still has video encodings of different sizes and resolutions. Regardless of how many quality levels there are, for adaptive bitrate streaming to work, the entirety of the video is encoded at each resolution. Each of those encodings of the video is chopped up into small pieces. Maybe the pieces are 2 seconds long or 4 seconds long or whatever. But the key is that each piece of each encoding is the same length and duration. Some of the early patents call these pieces streamlets, but now they're often referred to as segments. With encodings being cut up into streamlets or segments of the same length, the player can now decide which encoding to use based on factors like the download speed. For example, if the player downloads one of the medium quality segments and is able to download it quickly, maybe it will try the higher quality segment next. Conversely, if the download speed for the medium quality segment was very slow, then the player may choose to download the next segment at a lower resolution. Since the segments of each resolution are the same duration, the player can shift automatically between the different qualities. That's the adaptive part of adaptive bitrate streaming. Part of what the player takes into consideration when deciding which quality of video to choose is the video's bitrate. The bitrate is just the number of bits per second that are required to encode the video. Generally speaking, the higher the quality of the video, the more bits it takes to encode it, and thus a higher bitrate. In the next video, we'll go into more detail of how adaptive bitrate streaming works, and we'll look at some examples.